So on behalf of the University of Arizona and the A Center and the Pre-Health Professions Advising Program and the Pre-Health Ambassadors, I want to welcome you today. Thank you so much for being here today. One of the signature events that we have here in the Pre-Health Professions office happens in the spring. It's called Expo. And this is our 10th Expo, our third virtual Expo. And so getting, acquainted with COVID things and Zoom and all that, we really welcome you here today and hope that you gather some good information. So I'm Josephine Jen Morgan, and I'm the coordinator of the Pre-Health Professions Program. And with me today, my colleagues are Nettie Gupta, and we also have Ethan Bull. And then we're located in the Bartlett Academic Success Building right behind Bear Down Gym. So if you haven't visited us, come see us over on the 4th floor or make an appointment. But definitely we welcome you here today. You're going to gain some great information about rural health experience and maybe some opportunities out there if you're interested in that area, that our panelists have a lot of information to share with you. So just to let you know, those that attend today or any of our panels, your name will be put into a drawing, and we're going to do an MCAT test prep book package equivalent to about $500. If you're interested in other health professions like dentistry or pharmacy, we have review books for those too. So if the drawing pulls a student who's interested in a different health profession, we definitely will accommodate that winner. So today we've already gone through 3 different panels. We're very excited about today's events. We go all the way into 6 p.m. tonight. After this particular panel, we have a diversity health professions panel that represented different health professions of a diverse population of health profession students in physical therapy, occupational therapy, medicine, MD and DO, and veterinary medicine. So, please join us later if you'd like. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to our ambassadors. So just to let you know, for those that are attending, if you're interested in applying for our pre-health ambassadors program, the application is opened up right now. Our ambassadors who are currently on board will be the admissions committee for those that we select for our next group of ambassadors. And we're looking to fill about 3 or 4 different positions. You do earn upper division credit, and the application is available online. And I'm sure Nettie's probably typing that into the chat right now. So it's a good opportunity. If you're interested, we'd love to have you apply. And so with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Love, one of our pre-health ambassadors, and she will be reading a land acknowledgement. And then we also have Sydney, another pre-health ambassador, who will also be helping to facilitate the discussion. The Expo is really supported by those students that help us in the office. So we're real excited about their leadership and their ability to facilitate. So go ahead and take it away, Love.
Thank you, Josie. My name is Love. I'm a senior studying molecular and cellular biology. But before we begin, we would like to recognize that we respectfully acknowledge the University of Arizona is on the land and territories of Indigenous peoples. Today, Arizona is home to 22 federally recognized tribes, with Tucson being home to the Otham and the Yaqui. Committed to diversity and inclusion, the university strives to build sustainable relationships with sovereign Native nations and Indigenous communities through education offerings, partnerships, and community service. Thank you so much. I'm going to hand it over to Sydney.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out. My name is Sydney Pear. I'm one of the other pre-health ambassadors. I'm studying family studies and human development to go to physician assistant school in the future. So with that being said, we are now going to introduce our panelists, starting with Shayla Soto with the UA Mobile Health Unit.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shayla Soto, and I am, like was mentioned, the program manager for the Mobile Health Unit here at the College of Public Health. I am also a 3rd-year doctoral student. I passed my comps last year, so technically I'm a doctoral candidate now. And so with the Mobile Health Unit, we work a lot in rural areas and also in border towns. And my research for my dissertation is focused on farm worker health, which is also in the rural areas of Arizona. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Shayla. Next up, we have Alejandra, Dr. Alejandra Zapian. Sorry, thank you.
Thank you, Sydney. Buenas tardes a todos. I'm Alejandra Sapien. I'm the director of the Bilingual Medical Spanish and Distinction tracks, and also have an appointment at the Family and Community Medicine. And I'm here to talk about Faces Conversantes. If you're bilingual in Spanish, this class offers time in the classroom, but also opportunities to volunteer in free clinics run by College of Medicine and also Clínica Amistad. And I also have my hat today is gonna be Faces. So I want you to also look at what Faces Club is offering. We have as a university a agreement with Hospital General in Nogales, Mexico. So we're just hoping that soon through the Faces Club, they can start doing shadowing, going maybe on Saturdays, spend the day there. If you speak Spanish, this is a great opportunity for you. That's me. Thank you for being here.
Wonderful. And now we have Genesis Garcia representing Blazer.
Hi everyone, my name is Genesis Garcia and I am the new program coordinator for Frontera and Blazer. So this year we are merging both programs together. I want to emphasize that I am new, so please bear with me. And I'm so happy to be here for the first time. Thank you.
Perfect. And now we have Lucario with the NACP.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lucario Benashley. I'm a fourth year undergraduate here at the University of Arizona. I do a variety of public health and clinical things with Travel Nation. Though I'm here wearing my NACP research hat. I'll be happy to answer any questions, and then I'll put a link to NACP in the chat. So thank you.
And finally, we have Alexis Ortega with Columbia.
So, hi everyone, my name is Alexis Ortega. I'm currently doing my Master's of Public Health at Columbia University with the Epidemiology Department, but I also did Frontera during the summer of 2020, I believe. So,
And we also, on our list, we forgot to list, my bad, InMed, Indians into Medicine. So Tashina, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. Yate, my name is Tashina Mashane. I work for Arizona Indians into Medicine program for the University of Arizona. We help students who are aspiring doctors as well as present medical students through their process, specifically with our Native American population. We offer volunteer opportunities, opportunities to travel to conferences. So we help many students get the experience that they need to make their transition from undergraduate, graduate onto medical school. My specialty is in youth and high school outreach for those high school students who are aspiring to be medical students one day. So I help serve as coordinator for several summer programs on the nation, as well as working together with other medical institutions all over the state of Arizona. Nice to meet everybody.
Thank you so much for introducing yourself. So we're going to start off with a pretty broad question, but how can students get involved in the rural health experience programs that you are representing today?
Okay, I can go ahead and start. So with the mobile health unit, our goal is to try to reduce the number of people who rely on the hospital as their primary form of healthcare. So we focus a lot on prevention, which means that we go out into the community and provide free health screenings. So we check people's blood pressure, glucose, physical measurements, cholesterol, and HbA1c. And this opportunity is open to students that want to volunteer. So if you're interested in learning more about public health and nutrition and how people can make lifestyle changes, the volunteering opportunities with us would be going through a 2-hour training, and where we show you how to perform the health screenings, how to do the education. And then once you have completed that portion, you'll receive a link to sign up to different events. We do go out to all of Southern Arizona. So the counties that we serve are Pinal, Pima, Yuma, Santa Cruz, Cochise, and Graham County. We do provide transportation to all of these events. So if you're interested, we have usually one training per month. And whenever I will share my information in the chat, and you can just contact me to help with that. The other opportunity we have with the mobile health unit is right now we're helping with COVID vaccination through the Move Up program. And sometimes we need help with data entry, scribing. Those are the two things that most of you can help with, would be with the data entry and the scribe. That one, there is no training ahead of time. You just need to sign up for the event. And all of our events, whether it's health screenings or COVID vaccinations, are either in the morning, in the evening, the weekend. Our schedule is really crazy, but we hope that it works with some of you. So I'll drop my information in the chat, and then feel free to send me a message if you want to volunteer with us.
I'll go ahead and share some information too. For those who are looking for the experience for medical care, Arizona Indians into Medicine does offer a unique perspective for working with Indigenous communities. So as the land acknowledgement had said, Arizona is home to 22 federally recognized tribes. Of those 22, there are representative of over 573 federally recognized tribes in the United States. So chances are you will possibly work with a tribal community in your process. And University of Arizona, as well as Indians into Medicine, will help to create that aspect of cultural competency when working with Indigenous communities for holistic approaches to quality healthcare in those communities and with tribal members, as well as understanding the aspects or the objectives for each community, because even though we are grouped into Native American peoples of the United States, every community is different, especially when it comes to our 22 federally recognized tribes. If you get to volunteer with one tribal community, often go on to another, you'll see a whole different aspect of cultural diversity, health disparities, whether it's in rural and urban settings. Our tribal members do populate to various areas. So through Indians into Medicine, we'll help to give you workshops and opportunities to travel to other places so that you can get that experience and learn how to be a qualified, culturally competent physician.
And to second what Tashina mentioned, it's not just working in rural areas, but also health disparities as a whole. And the population that I'm targeting with my programs is the Hispanic Latino population, and utilizing one of the skills that maybe some of the students don't have the opportunity to use, which is their Spanish. So I train them during class, and you can do either shadowing or having volunteering experience. Some of the students also work with Sheila. So I try to place my students everywhere. They can also do Casa Alitas, Clinic Amistad, and the COP clinics, the College of Medicine.
I can go. Just briefly. Yeah, so if you are interested in learning about health disparities in the border, and also we do cells for Blazer. We do visit cells Arizona, Nogales, Arizona. Again, is learning about health disparities. And then we also have the MCAT and GRE that the workshops for the students, writing workshops, speaker series. So we try to incorporate a lot in our 10-week program. So if you are interested in learning about health disparities in the border area, please, that's how you can get involved with Frontera or Blazer.
I can add on. So this is Lucario. I did NACP. And again, NACP stands for Native American Cancer Prevention. So it's a research program which focuses on Native nations in or I guess in Arizona. And you can do a variety of research programs. They can be lab-based, they can be field-based, or they can be like sort of data or like data entry and analysis based. It just depends on which mentor you match with, who I guess who you get to choose during the program. So yes, that's NACP.
I'll say something really quick. I know initially I was a Faces Comerciantes student with Dr. Zapian, and my year definitely was different because it was 2020 and the start of COVID and everything. But that's how I got into Frontera, from hearing from Dr. Zapian about the program. And then I know that I've even volunteered at the mobile health unit in different clinics in Tucson. So that was my experience with rural health. Once you get involved with one, you'll get in touch with every other opportunity that there is regarding rural health.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much for talking a little bit more about your programs. For each of the opportunities, what do you feel like you guys see that makes the best volunteers? Or what are you looking for in your potential volunteers?
Mine is easy. They need to speak Spanish because during class, they get trained as lay interpreters. Most of my students have done that without training. And after the training, and maybe Alexis can talk more about it, they realize how important it is to get trained to be an interpreter. It's not just knowing the language, it's how to do it and getting some of the cultural background.
Yeah, I mean, speaking from experience, you kind of just think Spanish is Spanish, like you know it or you don't. But putting yourself like in these situations with these people in these communities and like your own community, like as a Hispanic, it's definitely a different experience that I didn't really understand until I started learning more of the language and like the medical background and actually volunteering.
For Arizona Indians into Medicine, we're looking for volunteers who understand that their volunteering will not benefit, will actually not always happen in a clinical setting or a hospital setting. In fact, if grandma and grandpa need help, we go out to those local areas to meet the patients and work closely with like CHRs. Some of our students have had that experience to go out seeking like a survey, understand that the populations where we oftentimes have our students go don't have running water, don't have access to electricity, and grandma and grandpa, though amazingly are learning how to text. I just got a message from my grandmother. Oftentimes will not know the usage of internet, still go to the post office to mail off their bills on the first of the month. So understanding that there is diversity when it comes to working with Native American communities and meeting patients where they are is key to volunteering in some of our programs.
And for the mobile health unit, we don't require students to speak Spanish, but it does make a difference if you do know how, because we often do work with Spanish speaking communities. So even though it's not required, it is preferred. And if not, everyone in our team is bilingual, so we're always there to help you. A lot of our team members are community health workers, so you get to learn from their perspective and their way of educating the community, which is very different than you see in a clinical setting. And then kind of like what Tashina mentioned is having like that love and appreciation for your community and wanting to give back. I think the students that come in with that mentality are the ones that have the best experience with the mobile health unit because they know they want to serve their community and they're doing it with the mobile health unit. And I also think it's a good stepping stone for students that want to go into medical school, because you will get that experience of working with the client and you will see if it's even something that you like or don't. We have had students that know for a fact they want to go to medical school when they start volunteering with us. And then after a couple times of coming out, they realize that, you know what, this is just not what I was thinking. And that's okay. This is like the perfect time to get that experience and to find out maybe I don't like the clinical part, but I do like the education part, and you can go on a different realm with that. And that's okay.
I suppose I can round off with NACP. I think it's a great way to explore Native American research and the do's and don'ts. For me, I was always wanting to be some type of pro or some type of provider, but I think after doing research, it showed me that I also want to do research, and you know, research is sort of impactful. You know, like you can have a community-wide effect. So I think NACP and participating in it or opens a lens that, you know, there's more to do and more ways to help people than than just the clinical aspect of patient care. So, you know, you can give it a try and see if you like research or not. So yes, NACP.
For Frontera and Blazer, just brief, definitely I've had emails, a few students that have done the program in the past, and they kind of commented that, you know, that was their goal to go into medical school and they really liked it. But then after doing Frontera, they decided they wanted to do more for the community and focus more on like research stuff. So they went on pursuing that. So yeah, I think it's just like, I think that any internship or volunteer experience, it's important to keep an open mind and really take everything that you learn from it. And it will help you understand what your future goals are.
Thank you so much. I'm going to move on to the next question, which is kind of tied in. So what are some of the challenges that the volunteers may experience?
I think that, I mean, what we all talked about previously is a really big challenge, navigating like your place in medicine or research or whatever you want to do. That some of the examples that were mentioned, that was 100% me. I was so set on medical school when I had initially started the program. And then I decided to branch out into epidemiology, and through Frontera, I got in touch with an epidemiologist at U of A, and she was my mentor. And then I switched to that route. But that's one thing that I grappled with a lot was, what do I want to do? So you're going to have a lot of options when you enter these programs, and that can be a little bit difficult.
I think some of our students, when we get volunteers or individuals who are creating like hands-on workshops with us, one of the big things is the frustration and the lack of data that is available within our communities. Just like Lucaria said, the importance of research and having accurate and quality research actually put in paper for others to view. Oftentimes our volunteers get a little bit frustrated when they're trying to do their work with the end result of presenting about their work. Oftentimes it has to be delivered and experienced in person to make their own, I guess you could say, look at their own data and talk to community members to get the real focus and the real truth about what there is lack of in these particular communities. And also setting the record straight. One example I could give is a lot of documents are, one of my students was having is that a lot of the documents she was reviewing were for San Javier Indian Reservation, but really it was grouped into Tohono Nation. And that was an understanding that a lot of people couldn't understand, that where is this data? Where is this? Why is there such a lack for it? It's because in previous research, oftentimes names of tribal communities were listed wrong, or the Ne is actually Navajo, but this particular research only used Navajo. So there is that little bit of frustration, but all I have to say is keep trying, getting those experiences and learning, because you'll hear it straight from the community, how they want to be, what they want to be called, how they want to be addressed, what disparities are most pressing for them. So yeah, so understanding that, but still seeking out those opportunities.
I'll speak real quick. So this is the first time I run this program, both of these programs, so I can't really speak about like past, but I know that in speaking with my director, a lot of the time students do face the challenge of really committing to the 10 weeks because we know that students have to work, go to school, and just juggle all these things. So really having a time commitment to the 10 weeks and being able to manage everything. We ask a lot of you guys, but you know, we hope that it does pay off. So that's what I can speak on.
And then on our end, so I mentioned the 2-hour training that students have to go through. But aside from that 2-hour training, there's also like education that you have to do on your own. So we'll give you like the links to like the American Heart Association, American Diabetes Association, but it's up to you to gain that knowledge on your own time. And sometimes students might have difficulty with that. Of course, we're there to help. But sometimes our events are really chaotic, really crazy when there's just too many things going on and we can't be by your side to help you. So we do really rely on students doing that research on their own ahead of time. So that's one challenge I can think of. The other one is that we get a lot of students each semester. So this semester alone, I want to say that we've trained maybe 30 students. So the slots available can be difficult to get one, but every month we send out the sign up genius and students sign up. So that would be like our one thing. If you really want to volunteer, is as soon as you get that sign up genius, go ahead and sign up for the slots that are available. And then something else that I like to remind students during the training is that when we're educating the community member, we have to be very aware of the difference between individual behaviors and also considering community and systematic issues. So we don't want to put blame towards the person of why their numbers are a certain way, but we have to take into consideration all these other factors are influencing them. Again, that's like, we can talk about it really briefly at the training, but that can be a challenge for some students to learn.
I have challenges for the mobile health clinic that I heard from students, that is transportation, because you need to go to the place where the mobile health clinic is. So yeah, just make sure that you have transportation. And also for the Blazer and Frontera program, it's a full-time program. So the priority is gonna be the summer program. And then if you're taking classes, if you're working, try to work on the weekends. So you give priority because you're gonna be doing the program, doing the prep courses for the MCAT and the GRE, and also working with a mentor on a research project. So that's gonna keep you busy and out of trouble for 10 weeks for sure.
So, yeah, so I guess we have similar obstacles with NACP. It is a 12-week full-time summer program, which is paid. So again, it can be hard to sort of commit to doing the full 12 weeks. I'll say an issue students have is like, before you can do research with Native American tribes, you have to do what's called CBLs, or I guess computer-based learning. And those modules are dense. And then they do take time, but they're very important to learn about how researchers harm Native nations previously, so they aren't repeated by future healthcare professionals and future healthcare or future researchers. So they do take some time to finish, but they are extremely important.
Perfect. So I know that you guys mentioned it a little bit briefly about some of the time commitments, but just to clarify for our students attending today, what would you say, or how flexible are your guys' scheduling hours, or what points in the semester do your programs take place? Do they run through the summer? Is it only during the semesters?
For Conversantes, it's a semester-long program. The classes are on Tuesdays from 3 to 5, and then you set up a time to do the volunteering. Usually it's usually 1 day a week, depending on what clinic you select to do your work.
So for Arizona Indians into Medicine, we are a bit more flexible on what we do. So volunteering oftentimes will take place during a summer if there is a need, but right now, a lot of our volunteer opportunities are decreased because of course, hospital protocols for COVID. But usually we'll have several sites that will actually offer up over the summer. If they need volunteers, they could travel, especially if students who are in college are traveling back to wherever they live or a locality for where a site is. Other than that, we have sessions like this where we would love students to participate and monitor, share their experience on their pursuit of a health career or a health education. So we offer times with like high school students to present or host hands-on activities. So, and of course, we are always open to students volunteering to create hands-on activities and like that. So yeah.
Sorry. Do you want to go first, Sheila?
No, go for it.
Okay. Yeah, so for Frontera and Blazer, so we are merging them this summer. And the program's from June 6th to August 12th. So it's 10-week. So it's pretty intense. We try to fill up the days with like a lot of activities to do. Like I said, we have the MCAT workshops, GRE, public speaking, MMIs. And then again, you do the mentor research with your mentor, and you kind of schedule that on your own time. And so it is pretty filled with activities. And then we are offering housing for the summer. So and it's going to be for both of the programs, for Blazer and for Frontera. So that's another option too. I know that students sometimes are out, they live in Phoenix or other areas, so we are offering the housing. So that's another good thing for the program.
Our events are year-round. The only time that the mobile health unit is not running is during winter break. So it's like 3 or 4 weeks that we close down because we need that break. But our events are every single day. They can be every single day. We don't go out every single day. And then the time also ranges from the craziest hours. So sometimes we have events at the ports of entry, and for example, in Douglas and in San Luis, we start at 4 in the morning to set up, and the event starts at 5. We usually end around 11 or 12. Sometimes we stay overnight. We get there the night ahead of time. If it's multiple day events, then we stay there the multiple days. We try to be as flexible as we can with students. So we do meet them at a motor pool here at the U of A or at the College of Public Health if it's going outside of Tucson. If the events are in Tucson, then we do prefer that students get a ride to the event. Again, if they can't, we try to be as flexible as possible.
So yeah, for NACP, the program is generally a summer program. It's 12 weeks, 35 to 40 hours a week. And then you can sort of negotiate the virtual and then in-person time with your mentor or with your lab. At the end of the program, you're given the option of continuing. And then of course, during during the academic year, you can't work 35 to 40 hours a week, like research and school, or the sort of hours are reduced between 10 to 20 hours is the expectation for fall and summer participation. So yes, that's NACP.
Great, thank you so much for answering that. I did have a few questions in regards to like Blazer, Frontera, and any of the research involved. Are these positions translational research? Are they field research? Do you kind of get more clinical experience? How would you describe, I guess, your experience, especially Alexis and Lecario, and what your program offers in terms of those opportunities?
So my research that I did, again, it was COVID. I know initially with the mentor that I was paired with, I was going to be doing clinical research with her, but it turned into a literature review and was mainly focused on data collection, which actually was perfect because that's what my focus is now, like data analysis. So that's what I did, but I know other students, it was a variety of different things that you could do. That was mine.
So yes, for any CP, when students are accepted, they'll be talking with different mentors and labs, and that's what students are trying to figure out is like, what type of research do I want to be doing? And there's sort of three types. There is the lab-based, you're going to be doing assays, and if not, there's field-based. You'll be going door to door and working with maybe tribal nation CHRs, or there is there's a data entry and data analysis, and of course research is temporal, right? It's a research can be field based, but then afterwards turns into looking at the data that you got from your experiments. So it sort of depends on where the lab is in their project. So you can just find, or you can shop around and figure out what suits or what's best for you. So that's it.
When you fill out the application for Frontera and Blazer, you select what areas do you want to work, and it's how you get paired with a mentor. So it can be in the lab, depending on what you want to do. If you want to do more clinical, if you want to go and work environmental sciences, it's really up to what you're looking for and your needs. Sometimes some students, they need to get the internship through maybe MCV. So having or working in a wet lab is the route.
Thank you, Dr. Sapien, for that information. Yeah, that's really helpful. Again, I'm new, so I'm sorry. Yeah, translational research and things like that. I've been hearing things, when I'm working on like the narrative for the budget and stuff. So that's where I catch up on. But yeah, Dr. Sapien can definitely speak more regarding that. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. What would you guys say is the biggest importance about those interested in joining the health field about gaining rural health experience?
Well, you need to be passionate about it. Don't do it just to check out a box or just to make your application more attractive. If you're passionate, go for it. Try to work with in rural areas. If you want to work with underserved population, get exposed, get the maybe, I don't know, a mentor, how to do it, how to approach the community. As I think Tashina mentioned that, get to know the community you want to work with. And obviously, if you want to be here in Arizona, in Tucson, Southwest, you need to be passionate about it.
I agree with Dr. Sapien. I think that this is the only way you really are going to find what you want to do with your career. And I think that it's important to be exposed to all the research and all the volunteer work that you can in order to really know yourself and what you want to do and pursue.
I would love to hear Alexis' experience now that you're at Columbia. Is there anything that you would tell an undergraduate student, maybe some advice that you'd give them in order to follow a path that you're following now?
I guess my path was a little chaotic, I think just because I'm like a chaotic person and I overthink about everything. So I remember being in Frontera and being so confused about what I wanted to do and I didn't know, and I was constantly going back and forth. So the biggest advice that I have is just like relax, because everything, like, it'll play out perfectly. Obviously you have to put in the work, like with these different internships and programs, and obviously be involved and being passionate, like that's one of the biggest things. But just relax because it'll happen. I mean, obviously Frontera was a huge stepping stone in my like academic career to be able to get to this point. The mentor that I was paired with could not have been more perfect, and I ended up getting published on a literature review with her, and I think that was one of the biggest pieces on my application when I applied to Columbia. And I was able to talk about that like so honestly and clearly, and it was one of the first like research related things that I had done, and I think it really showed with like what I'm doing now and the program that I'm in. And I'm actually doing a certificate in infectious disease epidemiology, so it's even more like research heavy, and Frontera was a huge part of that.
Wow, great. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I think it definitely always helps to hear like that firsthand experience and just the acknowledgement that everyone feels a little chaotic sometimes, and it's not always going to be the straightest and narrow path. We do have about 10 minutes left in our panel, so I just kind of wanted to circle back through all of the programs and discuss what your application process looks like, how soon students can get involved with your programs, and any other advice, I guess, to just close it off.
The application is open for conversantes, Faces Conversantes, and for Faces Club, they're always welcoming new members. Faces Conversantes deadline is April 15, I think, like your taxes. So keep that in mind. And it's for fall semester.
So I just put up our flyers for Frontera and Blazer. We've had our application open and we extended the deadline for Monday. So please apply to either Frontera or Blazer. We are trying to get 50 students. So we're close to this, but I know that we still are in need of more students to be able to apply for it. So there's our flyer there. So please, and if you have any issues with the application itself, my email is, I'm going to put it on the chat so that you guys can email me.
For Arizona Indians into Medicine program, right now we're outreaching to get more students involved who have an interest in health or any type of healthcare wanting to work with Native American communities. AAIP right now has their application open for their cross-cultural medicine workshop that's taking place in Albuquerque. There are student scholarships available, and they are looking for those students who are predominantly like non-native students who are going to end up working in communities. It's a 2-day one. You even get to go to the Gatherings of Nations powwow. I saw that on their agenda, so I'm advocating for myself to go to. But those types of workshops are out there. If you want to be part of our community, we have our Instagram as well as our Facebook, where we put a lot of these opportunities on there. All of them usually come with a travel scholarship for you to have a broad sense of all the different communities in the United States, and they're held all over. So take advantage of those. Oftentimes they're two days to a week, but they are full of information and other individuals who are doing the same work. So it's great to hear straight from those people what it's like to work in Native American communities and how to sustain competency through your career.
With the mobile health unit, we don't really have an application process. You just go ahead and email me and tell me you're interested, and then we'll get you on for the next training. Like I said, it's usually once or twice per month. The one for February has already passed, but there should be another one mid-March. And then if I could add just one little thing, I do think it's really important to consider research. I think most of the time we don't or think more of the clinical side of it, but research has such a big impact in making change, not only like in medicine, but also at community level, at policy level. I love policy. It's what my concentration's in. So I always think that research drives so much of policy change. So if that's not something you were considering, I definitely hope you do now. And I tell my students, because we have a lot of interns, I tell them that often doing the things that scare us the most or that are the most challenging is where we're going to gain the most knowledge. So hopefully if the clinical part doesn't work out for you, you will consider the research aspect.
So for NACP, the application just closed on February 1st, and then they'll be opening again on October 1st of this year for the summer of 2023 is research program. So I put that in chat and you can take a look at it. Thank you.
And I do have one quick question. Whether your program is asking for any letters of recommendation or if that's a requirement for when they go to apply.
So for Arizona Indians into Medicine, like I said, we do for the medical school applications. If you're Native American, we do have special circumstances for students who are taking the MCAT or are wanting to apply to a workshop that comes with a fee. We do write our recommendation letters, but in return, we just ask to be part of one of our panelists, volunteer in one of our workshops for other students who are aspiring, as well as even doing volunteer work in our community where there is a lack of response from other individuals. So we ask like, hey, can you please do this 20-minute video for our students? So talk about your experience. So yeah.
Briefly for Blazer, we do ask for 2 letters of recommendation and then the transcript, and then also for Frontera, the transcript. But yeah, those are what we ask for the programs. There's also more information on the website.
We actually did have a student that was interested and reached out about applying to Blazer. So with the 2 letters of recommendation requirement, how would you address going about applying by Monday for Blazer and potentially Frontera in the future?
Yeah, I mean, if they want to apply and they don't have the letters of recommendation, I will advocate for them. So yeah, go ahead and apply, and I will work with you. I promise I'll work with you. That way, if you need your letters of recommendation directly sent to my email, please do so.
So for NACP, you're going to need a narrative, and then if the narrative is in line with what the program is looking for, you'll be invited out to do a virtual or in-person interview, and then hopefully on to doing research in the summertime.
Great, thank you all. One last question that I have here is whether the program offers letters of recommendation for students who are going to be applying to these health professional schools like medical school, PA school, and how these students can get them or request them from the program.
Well, they should, my recommendation for the students is they're going to be paired with a mentor. So work well with your mentor. You can get one from the program, but you need a letter from a higher up, like a person that can speak from your clinical skills, how you work with patients, how your behavior in a clinical setting. So it's not just from the program. You need someone else that can speak like the skills that you need to enter those healthcare professions, if that makes sense. So you could probably get one from the program, one from Frontera, one from Blazer, or the other ones, but it's kind of limited to what you really need to show to the healthcare professions. So shoot for getting a mentor that gets to know you and can write a good letter of recommendation.
Yeah, I would also recommend, if you already know what program you're going to be applying to in the future, kind of see what are the requirements. Because as Alejandra just mentioned, sometimes they ask for 2 letters from providers that have the title of providers, maybe one from a community service, or another one could be a professor that you worked well with. And then for the mobile health unit, we do write letter recommendations from the community standpoint. But it's a lot easier for us to write a letter recommendation for students who are more consistent in coming to the events and also getting to know the staff. So that's like one thing. Don't be shy to talk to the staff or whatever organization you're paired with. Tell them what you like to do. Tell them, get to know them at a personal level if you can, because I think those are the easiest letters of recommendation to write. When you know that person is consistent, they have great skills, and they know what they want to do in the future. It makes it so much easier for us. So yeah, so for a mobile health unit, you just have to be consistent, usually at least a year of volunteering with the mobile health unit too.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys so much for coming. I received so much insight, and I'm sure that our students did as well. Our next panel is going to be the Health Professions Student Diversity Panel, and that's going to begin at 3 p.m. So we're going to have a little break, so feel free to do whatever you need to do and rejoin us at the same Zoom link. Thank you guys so much again for attending, and we hope to see you guys in the future.
Thank you, great panelists.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Anytime, Josie.
Bye.
See you later.